My grandfather, the late Stephen Michael Paul Webb, was one of the nicest and most caring people you could have ever met. From helping serve our country to helping me and my brother have a great time together by driving us around on the lawnmower, he was such an amazing influence both to my family and others. He was a Vietnam veteran, a tough patient against cancer, and a great inspiration to my brother and I. First of all, Paul served in the military during the Vietnam War. More specifically, he was in the B Battery, 1st Battalion, 82nd Artillery of the Army. He and his battalion arrived in Vietnam in July of 1968, and during the first year, endured many attacks while supporting a number of operations. In spring of 1971, Paul's battalion was deployed along the DMZ, Demilitarized Zone, in support of Operation Lam Son 719, where he and his battalion began one of the longest nighttime road marches of the Vietnam War, driving 192 miles in only 12 hours. 1st Battalion 82nd Artillery soldiers manned several critical fire bases right on the border of North Vietnam to support Vietnamese and U.S. forces operating in these areas. According to globalsecurity.org, at the height of this fighting in a 10-hour period, between 7,000 and 9,000 rounds were fired at the enemy. During this fighting, Paul was wounded along with 19 others of his battalion, earning him a Purple Heart Award when he returned from battle near the end of 1971. Paul joined the Army to help serve our country and protect those he loved most, and I believe that shows a little about the type of person he was. Secondly, in 2014, hardship struck when Paul was diagnosed with cancer in his esophagus, a cancer with only a 25% recovery rate no matter what stage it's in. His diagnosis hit us very hard as a family, and we had a difficult time dealing with it. Now it was us trying to make sure he was happy and comfortable, like he did for me and my brother for many years before. Even through all of this, Paul always seemed to keep a smile on his face, especially if I was around. Over the 2 years he battled cancer before he passed away, my family and I hung out with him as much as we could. We went camping at some amazing campgrounds, went fishing for hours on end when his condition allowed, and watched NASCAR races and football games religiously. My favorite memory I have with him is going camping at Bethpage one weekend in summer. We did everything we possibly could have that weekend, from driving the golf cart around the resort listening to music, to jumping on the big trampoline on the lake. We even got to play basketball, tennis, and volleyball as well. He would also call and check up on us when we weren't with him, as if he didn't have something huge to deal with himself. When Paul's condition started getting worse, we started doing things together that were more easygoing, like watching TV. One day we were watching a Tennessee Volunteer game, his favorite team, and he looks at me and says, "Don't ever let anyone or anything get in the way of you doing what you love with your life." And I believe that is what inspired me to be here today, pursuing a career in the medical field. Paul saying that brings me to my next point, which is how big of an inspiration he was to me, my brother, and surely many, many more. He was always supporting us in any way that he could, from showing up to sporting events to buying things from our school fundraisers. He would be at every football, baseball, and wrestling event I ever went to, even the ones in another state. I would be so happy to see him, and he would say, "You know I'd never miss the star of the show in action," and he was always cheering me and my brother on. This kind of support from him is what kept me playing sports throughout grade school and made me always try my best no matter the situation. But it wasn't just sports that he inspired me. He was also very inspirational in everyday life. Everyone knew him, and he knew everyone just the same, and he was friends with just about everyone. He was so kind and helpful to every person he talked to, and seeing everyone happy to see him made me want to become a great man like him. Up until the very day that he passed away, he supported me through everything that I overcame in life, which meant and still means the world to me. As you can see, Steve Paul Webb was an amazing husband, father, and grandfather, as well as a huge part of his community all the way until he passed in 2018. He made everyone around him happy and kept a good energy surrounding him. I know that he is watching over us as we live our lives and keeping us safe while he cheers us on from above. Here's to an amazing veteran, grandfather, and friend to all.